Today I want to talk about how you can be unstoppable in 2022. So there's a lot going on, obviously. Every year there's a lot going on, and we're 2 years into a pretty interesting event, and it can either do two things. It can stop us, or we can break through it. So I really want you to think about how, or if you were to be unstoppable in 2022, what would you do? What would happen? What would be involved? And what benefits would you get from it? Everybody likes the idea of being unstoppable. They go, yeah, clearly unstoppable would be a great goal. But how? So I have a free guide that I've been telling you guys about. We have printed it out for you. So it's 24 pages. Awaken the Unstoppable Woman in You. And I just wanted to go through it today to help you guys realize where you probably are unstoppable already, and maybe what you could be, some of the questions you could be asking yourselves that you could be looking at to help you be even more unstoppable in 2022. So the Unstoppable Woman has a bit of a framework where we talk about 4 different quadrants. And the quadrants, the first quadrant we start with is power and energy. So the ability for us to be unstoppable is largely determined by how much power we have and how much energy we have. If we're lying in bed, we can't get out of bed, we're exhausted, we're tired, we're overwhelmed, we're stressed, we don't feel in control of our situation, we don't feel in control of our lives, we feel like everything is happening to us, not for us, it's very, very hard to be unstoppable in anything. So the very first thing that I always go to when I'm working with any kind of client or myself, I'm like, okay, well, how's the power and energy? So just some questions that you might want to ask yourself that I'm just getting from the guide is, what are your biggest roadblocks right now? And, I'd guarantee no one's not writing, I don't have any roadblocks. The minute you kind of ask the question, what roadblocks are standing in your way right now? Everyone knows. But we become used to them, we become accustomed to them, we become okay with them, and we kind of tolerate them being there rather than smashing through them and being unstoppable through them. So what stands in your own way? What would you want to change about you or your life right now? Woo, big question. And everyone's like, I wouldn't change anything. Really? Because I would change many things. And that is not saying I'm not happy, I'm not ecstatic, I'm not grateful for wherever I am, but there is a lot that I still want to do and achieve and be and do and have, which would require some things that are standing in my way to be removed. So what is that for you? So just a couple of questions you might want to consider. If you want the whole guide, you can download it in the comments. There's 10 questions in that segment. Then we go into health. And, a simple question like, how much of your diet is made up of live, real food versus packaged fake food? And we are all smart enough to know if your diet is made up of 90% packaged food, you probably will have less health and less energy than someone who's on 90% real food. And this has nothing to do with, what you look like or what weight you are. This is about energy. When we eat real food, we are more energized than when we eat packaged food that comes out of a lab. So if we want to look after our health and look after our energy, we want to make sure that we're putting in the right fuel. It's the same as your car. Can you touch your toes? Simple question. But if you're so tight and so blocked that you can't touch your toes, what else are you holding yourself in, and where else are you blocked and tight? Okay, then we go into quadrant 2, which is all about love and connection. So I always say quadrant 2 is, the meaning of life. Firstly, we don't have life without quadrant 1. If we're not looking after our health, if we actually don't have any health, if we're on our deathbed and then we die, well, it's pretty impossible to do anything unless you believe in afterlife and ghosts and them being able to do stuff. So firstly, we have to look after ourselves, our own health and our own energy. But then the whole meaning of life is this love and connection. Humans are connected beings. We love to be connected to others. We love touch from others. We love the feeling of interacting with others. They tend to be, those interactions tend to be the things that give our life the biggest meaning. If I gave you all the money in the world where you could retire, sit on the beach and sip I'm just thinking of whatever holiday drink which has the little umbrella, Love the umbrella. You know, you've got all the straws and all the umbrellas, and you're at the most, $100 million a night place. It's fantastic, but you're alone. There's no one to talk to, there's no one to be with, and you are alone. You cannot talk to anyone. You're the only person left on the planet. Therefore, you have all the money, but you're all alone. Nobody would want that. We love and want to be with our loved ones and around our people. So we want to hang out with them. So what's our relationship with them like? Because as vital and as important and as, they're the thing that gives our life meanings, we tend to take it for granted. Well, not we tend to, but we can. We might take it for granted. We might not be grateful for it. We might not realize the relationship and nurture it as much as we should be. So a question like, what have we got? What relationships serve you? What is a relationship that gives you energy, makes you feel amazing, and is energy giving? And I hope every single one of you has hopefully many relationships that they can answer yes to that. So what relationships drain you? Which are the ones that take your energy, make you feel flat, and are energy taking? Hey Philippa, how are you? Which ones are they? Because the ones that take your energy, and if you've got plenty of those relationships, well then that's going to affect our health and energy, and that's not going to be the nurturing relationships that give our lives meaning that we want them to be. Okay. Do you feel that you put in enough time into nurturing and caring for your close relationships? And that's just a self-reflection question. Do you think you do, or do you think you don't? Because close and connected and amazing relationships aren't by chance. They don't just happen because that would be nice. They require effort and energy and thought and intention for that to happen. Okay, then the next one we have is wealth, and I call it meaning. So most of us create wealth in our lives by giving value to others. So either we're in an employment situation and we give value to our employer and give value to our employer's clients, which then results in us being compensated with money. And then what we do with that money then determines our wealth status. So then if we can take a proportion of that money and put it away to grow more money and to help us become wealthy, then that's those both parts of that quadrant. So the first thing is, do you feel like you do meaningful work? And whether, my father used to work at a mirror place where he was cutting mirror. And he was like, you could say it was the most boring job in the world. You could say it wasn't important. You could say, it didn't give any meaning. And he's gone, I loved it. He had a competition with himself. So if he did 7 mirrors in an hour, the next hour he wanted to do 8. If he did 8 and the guy next to him did 9, competition was on. He was going to go for 10. So it really doesn't matter what job you're doing. Can you find meaning in it? So my dad, who was super competitive, he could find a competition in anything, which meant that a lot of what he did, he could find meaning in it because it was a competition to be won. That doesn't have to be you. What are you inherently? Like if you are all about building connections and you scan groceries at a supermarket and you smile at every person that comes by your groceries and you have a conversation, you could have huge meaning and huge value that that you've made someone's day better because you smiled and you gave them a really great shopping experience. So you really want to make sure that you're doing meaningful work that gives value, that compensates you in a way that helps you build wealth. To be unstoppable, sometimes it requires a little bit of wealth or a lot of wealth. So every single one of us has to become guardians of money and be able to invest money to create wealth. And wealth could be anything to anyone. And to me, wealth is made up of not just money, but also love and health, because I want wealth in all those areas. But when you're talking about money, it's also being very, very clear and certain that you go, I'm taking a portion of it to grow it. And this is something that's not taught in schools and something that can trip us up, because if we are living paycheck to paycheck and we're not putting money away to grow and make more money, then sometimes we can get stuck out. So some of the questions here is, do you love or hate money? If you say that you hate it, well, I'm guessing you're probably not surrounded by it. Do you know how to make more money if you needed to? Do you control money or does it control you? Do you know how much money you spend and where your money goes each month? Just questions that, because I know the reason I bring up money, I know it's a little bit icky, But it's a huge energy stealer. When people are stressed about it or worried about it or feeling like their spending's out of control or feeling huge shame or huge guilt around credit card debt or whatever it is. And there's just a whole lot of emotion around money, which is hilarious because it's just a piece of paper. It actually has no feelings, no meanings, no emotion, except all the things that we decide to project on it. And depending on how you were raised and depending on your relationships with money from now all the way into your past, it can really colour, how you feel about working, how you feel about adding value, how you feel about creating wealth for yourself, creating wealth for others. And like I said, sometimes parts of being unstoppable. Like if you want to be Elon Musk and get us to Mars, that requires wealth. Not saying that everything requires wealth, it doesn't, absolutely not. But sometimes if you're feeling that money is controlling you, not you're in control of the money, that can really, really stop and limit people. So just some of those questions are super important. Then we've got, are you clear on the value you provide your clients or your company? What is your business or career dream? Everybody has a dream of what work they would love to be doing. Are you doing it? All right. And then the last quadrant, my favorite, fun and leisure. So once we've got all of that taken care of and once we've done all of that, it is time to play. It is time to enjoy the gift of life, and it is time to create as much joy and laughter and experiences into our life as possible so we can enjoy it to the max. So questions like, do you schedule magical moments of fun and adventure daily, weekly, monthly, yearly? And they don't need to cost any money. Go camping in the backyard without a tent, just going out there with your mattress and your pillow on the trampoline. Yeah, we've done it. It doesn't require any money, but gosh, it creates a magical moment. So how many magical moments are you creating? Do you feel more energized or less energized after doing your magical moments? Because hopefully if you're doing the magical moments right, you feel 1,000,000% more energized. Okay, so things like that, something to think about. Something to play with. If you would like the Unstoppable Woman's Guide and you would like to answer all those questions, it'll just give you a blueprint of where you are in your life, where you are being unstoppable and where you're not, and what's actually holding you back and what's blocking you and stopping you from being all you can be. So I'll put it in the comments if you want a copy. All my love. Mwah. Have an amazing freaking week. Go rock. Go be unstoppable. And remember, if you are a woman and you do want to join our Unstoppable Women's group, you can join that in the comments as well. Lots of love. I'll see you guys soon.